Hello, beautiful souls. It's Dina again, and I'm going to welcome you back again to this interesting and very insightful podcast all about connecting with your higher self. First, let's take a look at what is your higher self and why it is important to connect with your higher self. It's important to know the basics first. So let me start by telling you a little bit about what your higher self is, how you can connect with your higher self, and also my experience with connecting with my higher self and what I found out. Who is the higher self? And my definition of the higher self is it is the highest version of you, the most highest, the most wisest, the most grandest version of you. It is a version of you that is total soul consciousness. And the higher self is the more complete version of you too. The version that is not frustrated by the veil that draws upon us when we incarnate, that causes us to forget who we are. Because your higher self has the instruction manual, or should I say, knows your purpose, knows your dharma, knows your life plans, and knows everything that you're supposed to do in this incarnation. And so I bet you want to connect with your higher self at some level because you really want to know what your purpose is, what your dharma is, why you're here in this incarnation, what is your fullest potential that you want to accomplish in this incarnation, and all the other questions that you might have about your purpose, in short. So it is super important to connect with your higher self at some point in your life or at some point in your spiritual journey. I also want to add to the definition of the higher self that your higher self is also your ultimate guide. Because your higher self knows you so intimately, it is more of a guide for you. Just like you have your spirit guides, your higher self is also your ultimate guide. Even when you don't hear, feel, or see your higher self, just like you don't hear, feel, or see your spirit guides or your angels sometimes, your higher self is always there with you, guiding you and directing you in the right direction to reach your highest and your fullest potential in this lifetime. Okay, so the first method I want to discuss how you can connect with your higher self is by journaling. So what you want to do is open up a Word document or get a plain sheet of paper, write a question or type up a question, listen for the answer, and type it or write it. Then ask another question. You want to keep going. In the beginning, you'll notice that your ego will be directing the answers more. But trust me, once you go deeper and the longer you take to write out the answers and to learn how to communicate or do a two-way communication with yourself and your higher self, you'll know and notice that the answers to your questions are more channeled. They're not something that you can come up with. They're more channeled information from your higher self. The second method I want to discuss with you today is by seeing your higher self. So one method you can do is to imagine yourself going to a garden, a gazebo, stone bench, a beautiful meadow, anywhere you want to take yourself to, and then start with intention, start connecting with your higher self. So you're going to feel like you're imagining the whole thing, but really imagination is how you're going to connect with your higher self. But the way you can tell that this is your higher self speaking to you in your visualization, your imagination, is that your answers to the questions are very knowledgeable, they're very insightful, and they're usually wiser, meaning they sound wiser than you usually answer other questions. So you will know this is really your higher self speaking to you versus just your ego. And just keep talking to this manifestation of your higher self until it feels like you're talking to someone else and the answers you're getting don't seem like they're coming from your head. So it definitely takes practice to connect with your higher self, just like you would want to connect with your angels or guides or ascended masters and receive downloads from them. You want to make sure you're connecting to them every single day, or at least very frequently, to receive this guidance and the information. Insightful, more knowledgeable, and more not sounding like the version of you now, as if it's coming from a higher, much wiser person than you are. And I also wanted to share with you my experience when connecting with my higher self. And I connected with my higher self through a meditation, through a guided meditation. And when I connected with my higher self, I was super surprised to see a different version of me, because I really didn't see that I was a male or a female, although I sensed I was female. I mostly saw this beautiful white, blue, luminous light. And I could see my higher self kneeling down, or it was more like sitting cross-legged, and my higher self had this mala beads in her hand and was chanting the mantra Om, and she was really connected, super connected to consciousness or God consciousness or soul consciousness, as if my highest version of me was so connected to God and was on the path to ascension. It was so beautiful to connect with my higher self, because I literally didn't expect that version of me to show up during this meditation. And so you'll be super surprised when you connect with your higher self and find out what your higher self looks like. And I heard my higher self tell me, you are love, you are light. And it was so beautiful to hear that, because I felt a sense of peace and completeness and so much love and light when I connected to her and when I saw her. And that made me super happy, because I was like, wow, whatever I'm doing, I'm definitely on the right path. I'm definitely on the path to ascension and fulfilling my dharma, my purpose. So this really gave me a confirmation I needed that I'm definitely on the right path. If you absolutely loved today's episode, I would love for you to connect with me on Instagram at Sacred Heart Nurse, or visit my website, sacredheartnurse.com. I also teach spiritual gift activations in my free Facebook group, so don't forget to check out the link in the episode notes section for this particular episode. I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you. So much love and light. Thank you so much.